Hey everyone, I've been a little MIA lately, but for good reason. I've been deep in the trenches studying for one of the most intense exams I've ever taken, called the PMP. So today, I'm going to walk you through everything: why I took it, how I passed, and whether it's for you or maybe not for you. But before we hop into that, it's been a month since I've posted a YouTube, and I was recently in San Francisco for a week, just kind of relaxing and taking a step away from the content creation. I was doing some job searching while I was there as well. But I also have been spending a lot of time on TikTok, LinkedIn, and most recently, my brand new podcast called The Reboot Era. If you're new here, I talk about career transitions, job searching, burnout, and rebuilding after layoffs. I'm a program manager with a background in tech, supply chain, and cybersecurity, and I'm building this channel to be the resource that I wish I had. Enough about my hiatus. Let's talk about the PMP. Let's start with the big question. What is a PMP? And is the PMP even worth it? PMP stands for Project Management Professional. And if you're managing projects, even if you don't have project manager in your title, the PMP can level up your credentials big time. It's globally recognized and it looks great on a resume. It opens doors whether you're in tech, supply chain, marketing, government, or really any industry. For me, it was less about chasing a title and it was more about backing up the experience I already had. I've been managing complex programs for years at companies like CVS Health, Raytheon, Amazon, and most recently, CrowdStrike. But I wanted a way to validate that with real certification, especially in a job market that, let's just say it, it's pretty chaotic out there. If you're someone who likes structure, juggling stakeholders, or, breaking big problems into action plans, a PMP certification might be for you. So let's talk a little bit about what you actually need to qualify for the PMP and a little bit about the organization behind it. So the PMP is offered by the PMI, the Project Management Institute. They're the global authority of the project management certifications. If you've seen CAPM, PMI ACP, PGMP, or PMP, that's them. You don't have to be a member of PMI to apply for the exam, but there are perks if you're a member. Membership costs about $129 a year, plus a $10 one-time fee, and it gives you access to, first, a discount on the PMP exam from $555 down to $405, a free access to digital versions of the PMBOK Guide and Agile Practice Guide. These are great resources to study for your exam. And then lastly, PMI communities, resources, and career tools. If you're on a tight budget and you don't care about all those extras, I honestly recommend skipping it. But if you plan to stay in project management long term, or you're going to use PMI Study Hall, which requires a membership, it's totally worth it. Now back to the actual PMP eligibility requirements. You'll need one of the following. If you have a 4-year degree, you'll need 36 months of project management leadership experience in the last 8 years, and you'll need 35 hours of project management education or a CAPM certification, which waivers that 35 hours. If you have a high school diploma or an associate's degree, then you'll need 60 months of project management experience and 35-hour course of education or a CAPM certification, which waives that 35 hours. And don't worry, your job title does not have to say program manager or project manager. As long as you've led projects, tackled scope, schedule, and budget, or coordinated cross-functional work, you probably qualify. Also, the project management education part, that's where you'll earn your 35 PDUs. And I'll talk about that next. You need 35 hours of project management education, also known as PDUs. There are a bunch of ways to get this, but I went with the Technical Institute of America's PMP certification exam prep course, 35 PDU contact hours, found on Udemy for $120. And honestly, it was worth every minute and every penny. That name is really long, but you can find it down in the show notes below. I highly recommend this course, whether you're a seasoned professional or this is something brand new to you, because the instructor, Andrew Ramdale, breaks down the content in a way that is just so easy to digest. I wouldn't recommend spending $2,000 on like a boot camp unless you want that sort of structure. Most people do a self-paced online course and knock it out in a few weeks. Pro tip, make sure your course gives you a certificate at the end. You'll need it to upload that with your application. Honestly, this part stressed me out more than the actual test itself, at least at first. You'll need to log your project experiences and descriptions of what you did, like the actual work. PMI wants you to break it down by the domains initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. My advice, keep it simple. Don't overthink the descriptions. Use bullet points, focus on outcomes, and make sure it reflects your leadership and coordination skills. To be very honest, I didn't write mine. I leveraged ChatGPT and the information they were asking for on the application, along with my resume, to do the description write-ups for me. Always review ChatGPT's output before submitting. But in my case, it was perfect and saved me a lot of time. And yes, there's always a chance of getting audited. Don't be worried about that. I didn't get audited, at least not yet. But if you do, they're just going to ask for verification from your previous managers. So maybe don't lie about what you did. This is where I spent most of my time. There are a large list of resources that you can use when you're studying for the PMP. Since I have been managing projects for over 8 years and I have a bachelor's degree from a private business school, I used a minimal amount of resources. First, I used Udemy's exam prep videos. They give you mock tests that were extremely helpful. From the exam prep videos, I made flashcards with all of the vocabulary I could to take the strain away from my eyes from staring at the computer screen so much. Third, Andrew Ramdell's free YouTube videos of 200 ultra hard PMP questions, also linked below. Fourth, I purchased the TIA exam prep simulator for $45. And honestly, I ran out of time, so I didn't actually get to use this, but I bought it, so I wanted to throw it in here. Lastly, I purchased the PMI Study Hall Essentials for $49, which was the most helpful resource by far. Other resources that are available that I personally did not use, but can be extremely effective, the PMBOK 6 and 7, but let's be real, PMBOK 7 is just vibes. TIA's exam prep videos, you can purchase these. I just used the free ones in the course that I purchased for the 35 PDU hours. The PMP exam prep simplified book, didn't buy this. Now, how I studied for this. I studied for about 1 week consistently. My routine was watch a few videos on YouTube, as well as the 35-hour PDU course, do practice questions, both virtually and the flashcards that I made, review the answers, even the ones that I got right, and then take the full mock exam before ending my studying for the day. If you only have time for one thing, prioritize practice questions and mock exams. It will make such a difference. Now, this part's a little tricky because imposter syndrome will always tell you that you're not ready. But for me, I knew I was close when I was scoring about 65 to 70% on the study hall hard question quizzes. And I could explain why I got things right or why I got them wrong. If you're passing every quiz but guessing, it's kind of a red flag, and I wouldn't go and spend $400 on an exam that you're not 100% certain that you're doing well on. Also, take at least 1 or 2 full-length mock exams. This will help you build up stamina and the timing that it's going to take you. The real test is 180 questions over almost 4 hours. It's a mental marathon. For all of the mock exams I did, I was averaging about 2.5 hours, but on test day, I went slower. I took my time and I finished above target in all the domains, but it took me 3.5 hours to complete. The test itself is split into 3 parts. There's 2 breaks in between each part. Most of the questions are scenario-based, so you'll get a ton of what should the PM do next style questions. There were barely any formula questions, like I honestly memorized EVM for nothing. Time management is crucial. Like I said, I went slower than my mock exams, and it took me a total of 3.5 hours. Big tip, don't change answers unless you're absolutely sure. Your gut is usually right. While going through the test, which I did it remotely, I recommend using the highlighting tool to highlight exactly what they're asking you to find or who the conflict is between, and then use the strike through tool to cross off answers. One good thing to note is that when you're taking this test, there will always be 2 answers that are usually pretty obviously incorrect that you can eliminate right away. When I hit submit, I blacked out for a hot minute. The screen then refreshed and said, please wait 24 to 48 hours for your exam results. And I just sat there like, did I pass or did I not? The next 24 hours were quite anxiety filled, but I got that email in my inbox congratulating me, and I was stoked. Getting my PMP felt like the closure I needed after getting laid off from a job that I was genuinely great at. It was tedious, but not difficult, thanks to Andrew's prep course. And if you're thinking about it, go for it. Take your time, use the right resources, and trust that your experiences already count. I highly recommend taking this if you're currently employed because, one, you have income and you're not going to feel it in your bank account as hard. And then two, studying slowly over time, 3 or 4 weeks can definitely help. And then when you're looking for your new position or a new opportunity, you'll have that PMP in your back pocket. Let me know in the comments where you're at in your journey, whether you're applying, studying, or just here to see what all the hype is about. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn, TikTok, as well as my podcast. Stay tuned for the next few videos where I'll be reviewing a pretty awesome job board that I recently discovered, making updates to my resume, my LinkedIn, and my Upwork profiles.